Hello enjoyers! Today we are going to discuss the second part of the game design document, which is level design, and it is second most important part in the game because first one you need to have great gameplay, but the second part is level design because the player will spend almost all time in the level with the character that you provide them. So level design is important, and let's check out how it looks like in this game. If you want to get my completed projects and created assets, you can subscribe to my Patreon. There you can find some assets and projects from my videos. I would appreciate any support. First of all, you need to write level structure, which is explanation of your levels, your locations, and how it works. In my game, I will have 4 levels or 4 locations, which is village, castle, dungeon, and temple. Village is the first location in the game. There are 4 NPCs for interaction, several buildings, natural environment, stone walls of the castle in the background, and here you can see these references. This is actually link for references of the wall levels, and currently I don't have references, but I will add it later when I start working with level. And you can see here short explanation what is the village. Actually this is not complete, I need to add more information, this is too few, but I have in the most important part, which is NPCs. If you have it, if you have buildings, you also need to mention exact number of buildings, and you need actually add also your blueprint of your level. So it must be something like a sketch. Then you have here natural environment. I need also references of the natural environment. I need to add information about what kind of nature it must be. For example, it can be snowy, it can be, for example, sands, desert, it can be, different type of landscape. And then stone walls of the castle in the background, which is second location, so I need to merge them together, but actually this is different locations. But I can see from the first location the second location. Alright, let's move on. The second location is castle. Castle is one large building, and this is multiple layered place, and all layers are vertically placed. And you can see here surrounded by stone walls and village and natural environment in the background. So we can see from the second location our first location. Then we have the dungeon. Dungeon is third location. It is the biggest location, and the actual game is the dungeon, because in my opinion, how I see the game, I think village and castle is introduction, where this village is tutorial level, castle is prologue, dungeon is the main part of the game, and temple is, epilogue of the game, ending. So in the dungeon, player will spend most of the time, so it is the biggest location in the game, contains long corridors, halls connected with each other like a labyrinth. Lighting is limited, and the whole dungeon is structured as an artificial building mixed up with natural caves in some places. And last location is the temple. Temple is the one big location with temple building at the center and grim environment around. This is also incomplete description, but this is enough for a starting point. So I need to create one temple and then create some surrounding with a, grim mood. Then we have this level progression. This is actually the information how ordered the locations. So what is the first location, second, third, and how it works. So here you can see players start adventure in the village, where they get tutorial of the game and learn the basics. Also there the player can buy and sell items from trading NPC and explore freely until dungeon location. So at the start the player is free to move whatever they want. And the second location is the castle. There player is still free to move, can go back to the village, and there the player must find the key to enter the dungeon. So you can see this is a progression. The player in the second location can go to the village again. I mentioned it, it is important. So the player is able to move to the village and back to the castle, and so on. The player cannot pass through the wall castle as it is locked until the ending phase of the game. So castle is not completely available at the start, so the player must unlock it. This is why the player goes to the dungeon. Then in the third location in the dungeon, you can see at this part and further the player cannot move back to the previous locations. So from this part, the player is locked in the dungeon and cannot move back to the village, for example. So it is the important part, and I need to mention it as well. Then the player must gain the artifact and get out of dungeon alive. This is not that complicated. The player must achieve the goal of the game, gain artifact, and then get out. From there, the last part is entering the temple, returning the artifact, and the player will unlock the castle completely, and in the castle will be the ending of the game. This is actually the level progression. Maybe it is not finalized, maybe I need a little bit change phrases, maybe I need to add some information, but currently this is enough because I don't have even prototype. I don't have enough information how it will look like. Then we have this level difficulty. This is difficulty of the game, how it will progress during the game. And you can see the level becomes more difficult to pass while the player makes progress. Every time the player moves to the new level, the game becomes more difficult. So when the player unlocks new location and go there, enemies will become stronger. This is it. Later I need to add exact numbers how it becomes more difficult. Like this. Then we have this map. This part is very simple. You add some information about your map if you have map in the game. And in my game, I will have map. The game provides the player with a map where the player can see all discovered locations. So the player will see first the village, then the castle and village, then dungeon, and at the last, the player will be able to see every location. The map also provides a compass and is oriented to the north. So the minimap will be frozen and always will direct it to the north. The map provides information about NPCs except enemies and current quests. So the player will be able to see NPCs if it is not the enemy, and quests. So the player will be able to see where they need to go, and also the player will see friendly NPCs. This is important except enemies. This part is important because if you can see your enemies, it is kind of cheating. It is kind of unfair that you can prepare yourself before you notice them. And also I mentioned marks on the map that is possible to see, which is the player current location. It is a mark location name. This is the point where you can see where are you actually currently. And last one is the quest location. So where is your quest, where you need to go. Then we have these items and resources. I'm not going to continue this part because currently it is not important. This is the point where I'm going to stop working with design document, and I will start learning technologies that I can use, and we will talk about that in the next video. But I would say I'm going to use at least a mesh generation because I can just create a dungeon by myself. It is very demanding, very time consuming, and very challenging for the single person, and I'm alone currently as developer, so I need to use some generation stuff to make sure that I am able to create big locations. Then I will manually fix all problems in the locations because I need to add specific elements in the game, but it is much easier when you have some source, when you have already some created points and elements in the game level. So basically that's it for now. I hope you enjoy. If so, hit the like button, share comments, subscribe the channel, and wait for updates. I'm going to share with you videos every week because I'm working not only for this one, and I have actually another project. I will update information weekly, so yeah, see ya.